Come on.
And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Edge Optimizations, and more importantly, helping everyone live life optimally. And today, you have the courage and the wisdom to be with us today on Wisdom Wednesday. And today's conversation is going to be about the frequency of money. And if you don't know, Tara's about to take you to the ocean and back into the clouds and to Antarctica and North Pole, and it's all going to make sense. And so buckle up, buttercups, because this is going to be a ride. And I am here to share with you guys all that look, when we talk about frequency, when we talk about energy, when we talk about all the vibration, I'm here to tell you, 7, 8 years ago, this would have been a complete, I'm out of here. I would have already changed the channel when I heard frequency of money. But I am here to share with you all. You want to stick around for this conversation and definitely repeat it. Come and join us in our membership where you get access to all of our replays. And more importantly, we want you to share this. Hit the like button. Go and be able to sit down somewhere and open up the four most expensive things, which is your mind, your mouth, your hand, and your heart. We want you to open those things up. And especially as we have an amazing conversation tomorrow for our Hello Pivot Thursdays with our mentor, our friend, Casey Salgi. It's going to be a whirlwind of conversations. There might be some onions cut in the room. You never know. But buckle up because that is also going to be an amazing conversation. And before Tara takes over, right, I know I'm not going to share anything that she's going to share. But what I did want to do, especially how I opened this up, was share with you guys all the energy and the vibration and the frequency that we have with money. And me as an individual, and a black man, my father would always tell me, boy, those rich people, those white people are rich. And, talk about golf all the time. He would talk about, how they would invest in stocks and things of this sort. And, my experience with money and the frequency with money, to be real talk, was based upon your color because that was entrenched, that was the energy, that was the vibration that I was taught. And this is where we continue to share with you all. You have to really go back and dig and see where these traumas, these dramas, these patterns, these programs, and that is exactly what this is. This is a program and a pattern that you have towards money. And we really want to demystify that today and for you to be able to go and understand what's your vibration with money. Because, looking back at this, I remember being in a room not too long ago that I shared with people, business is not all about money. And I got my head ripped off in this room. And business owners and entrepreneurs is like, no, business is all about money. And I said, well, it just depends on what your relationship is with money. And I shared with them that money to me is collaboration, is community, is commitment, is integrity, is doing what I said I would do. And my vibration and energy with money is completely different than what other people might have and their thought process with money. And when I was able to explain that, it made more sense. But boy, did I get my head ripped off. And this is really, going back to understanding that financial literacy is taught, not taught, especially in my, bringing up. My father would always say, hey, boy, save some money for a rainy day, save some money for a rainy day. But what he didn't teach me was to invest into, different options and not just have the bank do the investing for me. And we're finding out now more than ever, we've been getting bamboozled. And so this is where we really want you to guys to spend the time having this conversation because it doesn't matter what you do with your money, your energy and your frequency has to be open. And you guys hear me and Tara share this all the time. Be grateful because when you're grateful, that's the biggest reception for receiving things. And when you're grateful and thankful, you start getting the things that you want. And at the end of the day, coming from two digital entrepreneurs that had six-figure jobs, had everything that we wanted to do, and now we're homeless, rolling around in the world, building our business online and in metaverse. You really don't need a lot. And that's what we've come down to discover, and we want to share these thoughts with you and get your input and your feedback on this as well. And so, you guys make sure you come and join us in the Hello Plaza in Metaverse. You guys are going to be able to experience something different. We're going to play some actual videos for you where you can see it in the Metaverse. And so definitely come and join us and be a part of this amazing event. And without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to the one and only Miss Tara. Talk to us, love. What you got today?
Well, hello, beautiful people. Hello, beautiful people. It's a good Wednesday. Happy to be here. Happy to have this conversation. Again, like David said, if we would have had this conversation a few years ago, how many years ago did you say? How long
8
ago?
years. I mean, probably would more than longer than that.
Shorter than that. No,
Yeah.
I think if we had this conversation about frequency and money anywhere within the last 5 to 8 years, I would say you would have been like, you would get side eye like that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe you. And to be very frank, David wasn't the only one. I too had that side eye. And it's because of conditioning ways. It's because how we were raised. It is because of the way that we were raised. And it doesn't make anybody right or wrong, but what it does is that it allows us to understand why we do the things we do and why we are where we are. To be very, 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 very blunt about it, it has been a systematic approach to be able to make sure we, as the common people, are disconnected from the money, the frequency of money, because it allows that then the top 1% to have that advantage and gain that growth over you, or that advantage over you, and have that growth of income constantly coming in. So, today's conversation, we're going to take facts and numbers and reality, and we're going to be able to, from there, build upon that and allow people to understand how we get to understanding frequency, the frequency. First of all, money is a frequency, and what the frequency of money is and how to get there. And so it comes down to us just being very mindful of having an open mind, an open hand, an open mouth, and an open heart. When we have those four things, then we are open to the idea and the possibility of things around us. We tend to, as humans, just automatically default into the it doesn't sound right, and kind of check out. Even the title of this conversation, the frequency of money, scares people, to be very frank, because you can see it with who shows up and who doesn't show up.
And also, sometimes I think a lot of the times is people don't want to talk about it, especially right now, because people are really lacking money, and a lot of people avoid
it.
It's
a pain point. Yeah, it's a pain point. And let me say, when I say pain point, what's the first thing you think of? Pain. Mm-hmm. Okay, pain has an association of kind of like, ooh,
no pain, no gain, baby, is what they say.
Thank you. Anywho, you have association of kind of like a negative connotation to it, and when you have that, it comes down the pipeline to there's a negative energy about it. There's a negative association. You have a negative experience around it, and we're going to talk about all of that today, because that is what is standing in your way. Like, we're going to identify literally what is standing in your way, because it's standing in everybody's way. The same thing that's your problem is everybody else's problem, 100%. They have us disconnected from this conversation. They make it very woo-woo, as we would say, and people just lose interest, because at the end of the day, they're not, it challenges the pain that people go through with dealing with money, or the lack thereof. Because guess what? It is a lack mindset associated with it. So I heard something really great today. We're going to play a great clip today of Dr. Joe Dispenza. If you do not know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is, Dr. Joe is a metaphysicist, essentially. He was a gentleman who broke his back in a horse riding accident and was going to be paralyzed uh, from, I believe, the chest area down, chest to waist area down. And that was not going to be sufficient for Dr. Joe. And he realized with his, because before that he was a chiropractor, he understood, first of all, the dynamics of how his spine was made up. And then on top of that, he loved to study science and metaphysics. And because he married the two together, he actually was able to heal himself 100% fully through meditation and being able to now today, you can see him up on podcasts, walking around, doing his thing. He hosts events twice, 3, 4 times a year, conferences around the world, and explains this same thing that we, the same thing that helped him, that he discovered through, his process of healing his injury, allowed him to be able to share with everybody how this is a common kind of denominator across the board. And it really plagues all of us, and how to be able to achieve those results. So we're going to allow Dr. Joe to explain this and not just let Tara sit up here and act like she's the expert. I share this information only from the simple fact that, no, I am no expert. I am not a metaphysicist, but I share from the point of view of we all want more money. And I am a person who goes, okay, I want that. I can go out and do it this way, which is trading your time for money, which is what many of us have done for a very long time, of having a job and, trading your time to show up for a paycheck to show up in your bank account. Or the other side of Tara is I want to actually solve the problem to where it no longer is a problem. I like solutions, and when I am a solutionist, I go to the source of the problem. So I have done a lot of research on this. I've understood it, and now it's in the practicing of it, and understanding that, as David and I say, life is, all about the action and the practice, the consistent practicing, the consistent action that we have of doing what we're, getting to. So today we're talking about the frequency of money. We're going to play this short clip here that is Dr. Joe's explaining some things about kind of the setup, the makeup, and why people get in their own way. Before we do jump into that, I did want to share a few facts and figures because it's very important for people to understand we're all struggling with this because we've been disconnected. This is something that we've been disconnected from, because if we were connected, then we would be able to absolutely generate all kinds of wealth, and that would take from the top 1%. And that's not what the game is set up to do. $1.7 trillion of student loans are what's lingering out in this world. And that's a lot of money. Did you know that you currently have to make $150,000 a year in order to be considered middle class? Let me say that again. Your household has to bring in a total of $150,000 a year in order to be considered middle class. The wealth gap between lower class, middle class, upper class, and the elite, the wealthy, is growing so significantly over the past 4 years that what is happening now is that you're going to have just the lower class and the wealthy. It is eliminating the middle class because of inflation, because of macro and microeconomics. It is because of the understanding that history repeats itself, some patterns repeat themselves, and we're in the greatest wealth transfer of our lifetime that we will ever see right now. You don't know about it because they keep it hidden. They keep it under wraps or very little spoke about because they keep you paying attention to other things and occupied with other things that keep you distracted is the word I'm looking for. So currently, 40% of Americans cannot afford a surprise expense of $400. So if something pops up and you need an immediate $400, that is beyond the reach of 40% of Americans as of 2023. And I'm betting because of the inflation that is occurring and the squeeze that is continuing to happen, it is higher, right? Look, these things are not comfortable to talk about. We get that. We all are in the same boat. So do not think that just because we're speaking about this, that we're not in a boat of understanding that money is a frequency. Depends on what frequency you're on, and that's what you're bringing into your world. And so we are all in this, learning this and understanding where we are. Hey, today's conversation's goal is just to give you the information, the know-hows, so that you can take an assessment on your own private time, in your own private, little sanctuary, and be able to go, you know what? This is where I'm currently am. This is the energy. This is the frequency that I am. This is where I need to be. This is why I am. And when we sit back and we can take, like David asked me the other day, you don't watch tape? You didn't watch tape? Coach didn't have you watch tape? Who was your coaches? When we don't stop and take a reflection of who we've been or what we are doing, then we are not going to set ourselves up for future success. You're not going to be succeeding now. You're not going to be succeeding in the future because you're standing in your own way. The roadblock is you. The roadblock is you. The roadblock is Tara. The roadblock is David. The roadblock is Betty. The roadblock is Johnny. The roadblock is Susie Q. The roadblock is you as a person in your own way. It does not help yourself to be able to say, oh, yeah, I want money and I want to learn the frequency of money, and you're unwilling to be with yourself. I'm just going to tell you now, this is a self-development of you. You are a direct reflection of your pocketbook, of your bank account, of how much money you have. So if you don't have what you want in your bank account, that's a direct reflection of you. Just a reflection of me, direct reflection of David.
Yeah.
So we all have accountability in our own money that is coming into our realm, right? To our, to our bank account. So it comes down to understanding that if you're not willing to be with who you are, if you're not willing to sit with yourself and say, hey, this is who I'm being, this is how I show up every day, this is the energy and the frequency of who I'm being, you're not willing to have that conversation with you, you are not willing to have the frequency of money vibrate in your way. You're not going to attract money. You're going to constantly struggle with money. Because I can tell you right now, if you told me, hey, I have $200 in my bank account, that is the direct reflection of who you are being, period. Now, I know that hurts because a lot of times people don't want to hear that. A lot of times people don't want to be with that. I didn't want to. What? Me? No, not me. I'm not being that way.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, you. And so, I speak about this because I personally am going through it, have went through it, learning about it, being able to share more, educate others so that they can have the building blocks, because we all want wealth. We all want to build generational wealth. And let me tell you something. Generational wealth is not when you take advantage of this cryptocurrency, blockchain, fintech market right now. That's a tool of it. But if you believe that's the only way that you can do it, then you are living in a lack mindset. And we're going to jump into all that as well. So we're going to play a video here that's going to be Dr. Joe explaining a lot of the spaces. One thing I wanted to share with you guys before we went ahead and did that was some basic descriptions of like what money is. Money, this is the definition, by the way, guys. This is the Webster definition. Money is an item of or a a verifiable record that is generally accepted as payment for goods and or services and or repayment of debts. It is a system of value exchange that allows us to avoid bartering between each other. Okay. Currency. Currency is a particular form of money and its tangible representation to everyday transactions. And the reason why I say currency is because the root of currency is current, current. Current is energy. Energy. So there are the definition of energy is the physical definition is where energy is the capacity to do work. That is what energy's physicist definition is. But there are 6 types of energy. There's the physicist, there's kinetic energy, there's potential energy, there's thermal energy, electrical energy, chemical energy, and personal energy. I can't count, that's 7. So there you go. Again, kinetic energy.
I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
Right? Kinetic energy is the energy of motion, i.e., a moving car. Potential energy is stored energy due to position or configuration. So a stretched rubber band is an example of that. Thermal energy is the energy associated with heat, i.e., sunlight. Okay? Electrical energy, the flow of an electrical charge. You know those lights you flip on? That would be electrical energy.
Don't put anger in the socket.
Yeah, David. Chemical energy, the energy that is stored in bonds of molecules. So that is like your food. So, like for instance, if you have grape or cantaloupe, I just ate some cantaloupe. That is a chemical energy, right? Now, the last one was personal energy, and personal energy refers to your drive, enthusiasm, and motivation. It is the internal force that fuels your action and shapes your circumstances. Now, why did I share the definitions of that? Because the definitions of what Webster shares is very practical, right? Now, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, the 4 most expensive things you need to open up. The 4 most expensive things that you own is your mind, your mouth, your heart, and your hand. You got to open those up. What do we mean by that? Open your mind, have an open mind to listen. Doesn't mean you have to adopt, it means you can listen. Open mouth does not mean dirty things. It means ask for help, ask questions. Open heart means when we are in the abundance of love and the frequency of love, you will learn today, like we were sharing, you are a higher vibration. And like I will share with you, I'm going to just let the cat out of the bag. The frequency of money is high vibration. Okay. So if you are in the vibration of, that open heart, you are in an open high vibration, and that will allow you to track money, the frequency of money, faster. I know he's what I asked you. And then an open hand means just being able to have your hand open to be able to ask for help, reach out for help. We're having a whole 2 conversations here. Anywho, so I share that because let me put this into practicality before we jump in to have Dr. Joe share here. It comes down to let's all think to an emergency room situation or a hospital situation. You have those monitors that go beep, beep, beep. And that's your heart rate, right? Right? Right. All right. So if your heart rate is beeping and all of a sudden you hear me, what does that mean? You are flatlined. You have no energy.
So
you are DOA, dead on arrival. It comes down to you are dead. So what do they do when that happens? The reason why they have that monitor to where they can hear the beep, beep, beep. And if they hear the flat line, they can come running with the cart and they turn that cart on and it powers up and they say, clear, clear, boom. and they electrify your ass, right? And next thing you know, you are now got more, and then your body, and then all of a sudden the heart monitor goes beep, beep, beep. All right, let's define what that was.
But I went to hell.
Yeah, that part. You probably did for about 5 seconds. So what that was they shooting electricity into your chest right here to be able to knock the currency of your vibration, of your electrical charge that is in your body. You have to understand, a human is a positive and a negative makeup. It's a yin and a yang. There's positive energy and negative energy within us. The reason why I can prove you right and wrong, or whatever it is called, the reason why I can prove that to you is because when they do that clear and they shock the shit out of you, that is electrical charge they are putting in you. The reason why they say clear is because everybody around you needs to clear off, or they're going to get that electrical charge and get a little zap. The next thing you know, they're on the floor, and we got to do another clear. So the point being is they're putting electrical charge back in your body. Electrical charge is made up of a positive and a negative. This is simple information that we've all learned within high school. I actually paid attention. I don't know why, but I did. It was in my chemistry class. But there's a positive and negative charge. And so at the positive and negative charge, like a battery, the plus sign goes to the plus side, and the negative goes to the negative side, and you have to make sure you have the battery right before you put it in your hand, your controller, or your remote controller, or whatever it is that you're putting in. That's a positive and negative charge. You're no different. So frequency of energy is the same. Your energy of who you are is a positive, negative charge. And what happens is if that goes out of balance and stops working and you no longer have that and it's all misconstrued, that's why you're dead. And that's why they go clear and they shock the crap out of you and you come back to life or you don't. It depends on how much energy you need and how disappropriated or broken that energy pathway was. So I share all of this, guys, with you because Dr. Joe's going to jump into this, and he's going to dive into deeper of explain it from a metaphysical side. He explains it really simply, though, like to where, simple terms, kindergartner, first grader, I can understand. Let me tell you, I do not have a high understanding of comprehension sometimes, so it is great to understand when Dr. Joe puts it in simple words, right? So we're going to go ahead and play that now. Mr. Jones wanted to add something to this, and then we'll open this up for further discussion.
Yeah. So once again, guys, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Edge Optimizations. And what we do is simple, easy. We help you rebuild your current foundation, implementing systems, upgrading your strategies, and more importantly, 2D to 3D. So if you got one of those old school, crusty, dusty link trees or a static website, let's start there. Let's upgrade that by implementing systems into your business and stop allowing yourself to showcase somebody else's business. And more importantly, implement some strategies so you can stop being the janitor of your business and you can be the president of your business, especially as we transition, utilizing this AI, utilizing, this Web3. And even today, we're going to share with you guys the new ChatGPT 4.0, where you can actually understand that it's no longer, like I continue to say, you got to retool, re-strategize, and rethink. I used to share with you all that it's copy, paste, drag, drop. Well, guess what? Our asses have gotten rid of 3 of those things. Where right now, you literally can be able to vocalize what you want and create at the speed of thought, which is something that I've shared. But now, if you're not the best texter, you're not the best typer, you don't know code, you don't know different languages, we have obsoleted all of that with this AI and technology that was just dropped with ChatGPT 4.
You need help with your algebra math?
Yeah, you can literally with ChatGPT 4 for you parents, right? If your kid brings to you an equation that you don't know what the hell you're doing, then you literally can open up the free version of ChatGPT, right? And you literally can go at, and there's a microphone, and then there's an actual speaker. On the very far bottom right, you hit that, and that takes you to Omni. And Omni will allow you to give access to your camera and your actual microphone. And what you do is you put it on the camera, and you literally can show the algebra equation. You can ask it, hey, don't solve this for me, step me through it and help me solve this so you can actually have your children do this as well. Guess what? Your ass is out the way. You now can prompt your children, hey, go and ask this because look, you should not be afraid to introduce this AI technology to your children, especially when we're talking about frequency of money. And I've shared with you guys from the beginning, I learned my frequency of money from my parents. White folks this, white man this, da 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 da. And my insinuation and my representation of a lot of money was based on my dad's thought and his mentality. And what I've learned is money does not have a color to it. Money does not have, a particular negative mindset to it whatsoever. It's really having a high vibration, being positive, and helping other people get what they want, and you get what you want because that's the reciprocation, is the rewards that you get. And so when we get out of that mentality of you do you, I'm gonna do me, let's see who gets to the top, that's low vibration. You're not gonna get any money. But when you're in the vibration of, hey, I see what you're doing, you see what I'm doing, let's go up this mountain together, and we all can win, then that in itself is exactly where I encourage you guys to really start moving your energy and surrounding yourself with those type of people. The one thing that me and Tara had to do when we did start making an abundance of money, I'm gonna tell you right now, we lost all of our damn friends.
All of them.
We went to go open up a business. We shared with our friends, hey, we're starting a business. They scattered like cockroaches. Nobody wanted to up level their daily lives. And at that point, that's when we were in the health and wellness. I was at 300 pounds. Tara was at a certain weight. I lost 70, 80 pounds. Tara lost 50 pounds. And we were proof in the pudding, and people didn't want to make that transition with their own health at that point. Then we realized that, hey, we got something here. We then built, our biz in a box. We then were able to find out about the metaverse, and then we have our AI MotionWorks. Now we have our Pivot membership. It all started from us changing our vibration and the way that we looked at money, especially for myself. I was with a job that didn't give a shit about me. I took 500 flights in 4 years. 500, okay? 500 in 4 years. I wanted to come home to go to a dentist appointment because I knew my teeth were hurting. And my boss told me, "Hey, David, instead of you getting home, on this Thursday where you can make your appointment, just go on that Friday because I wasn't going to get home till 2 o'clock in the morning." Well, her ass was sitting on her couch eating Cheetos and buns, and I knew this because when I called her, she told me what she was doing, and she rides her bike to work. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota, trying to get home to Houston, Texas, and you 2 miles down the street, and I'm trying to get on the flight to get home. She did not care. And when I realized when I got to the dentist told me about my health, about where I was at with my health, and I needed to take care of it. And so I had to go to the doctor, and then one thing led to another. That's when I realized, hey, this money that I'm chasing after is not going to be chasing me if I'm 6 feet in the ground. And so that's really where I had to change my frequency of what I thought about money, and money wasn't everything because we had it. We could go anywhere and do anything. $400, let's get it, right? And so this is where we share with you all: change your energy, change your world, and Dr. Joe is definitely a part of this for sure. So we encourage you guys to come and join us in our Hello Plaza in Metaverse. That you can hit that button up at the top, right, and come and join us because we're going to be showing this in the actual Metaverse world. And so
before we play that, I want to share this.
Yeah.
The only difference between broke people and rich people is energy. Your energy is why you are broke, because you have broke-minded energy. You are lacking. You think of, for instance, if you're walking down the street, driving down the street, you're sitting at the corner crossing the street, and you see somebody drive by in a Mercedes, a Maserati, whatever it is, your dream car, and you're like, oh man, I wish I had that. Bam, right there. Lack mindset. That kind of thinking is what is called broke minded thinking. I don't mean that in a like to, to put anybody down, but we have been conditioned and educated to be broke minded. We have been taught that we are only to go trade our time for money. Why do you think they make you go to school? Real talk.
Hello.
Why do you think they make you get up and be at school by 7:30, 8:30 in the morning? You get a break before lunch, you get a lunch, you get a break after lunch, and then you get out of school. And you do that 5 days a week. Why do you think they do that? That is called conditioning. They are conditioning us to be in a certain vibration and understanding of where we are and how we are to be. We are to show up, trade our time to get good grades. And that program of incentivization through a grade process then turns into monetary and money. And then all of a sudden you show up to trade your time for money because everybody, when we were younger, wanted that gold star. That gold star equated to maybe a lollipop or a sucker from the teacher, or maybe at home you even got $5, or you brought home all straight A's in my instance, and I got $20 a straight
A. What you saying?
An A. My point being is we associate money with so many things around a reward system. We also have to understand that part of the equation that we're going to talk about, Dr. Joe's going to talk about, is that self-belief of your self-worth, right? So we understand money is just energy. And again, I'll say it, the only difference between broke people and rich people is energy. It's not education. It's not how much money your family has. We all know someone who dropped out of high school, college, or whatever who's doing really well. We all know someone who we look at and we're like, they're not very smart and they've got a lot of money. Trust me, David and I have met our fair share of people who are like, okay, what? This is a twilight zone. I feel like this person. I mean, I they're not all there. Not all cylinders are firing, and they're making $1 million a month. How are they doing that? Let me tell you, it's their energy, it's their frequency. So we're going to allow Dr. Joe to tell you guys about this because at the end of the day, when Dr. Joe tells you about this, it won't be Tara telling you, and it will be Dr. Joe. So we're going to do some muting of the mics and unmuting of the mics so that way we can make sure that you guys hear this. If you would like to, you would. There you go. Mute that. But as you can see, Dr. Joe was breaking down the importance of understanding about the frequency and of who you are and what you are creating and who you are being. And basically, it comes down to the simple fact of who are you every day? When you wake up, and I say this for myself, I speak from my own experience. So I used to wake up in a not so good state. I did not have a great attitude. Um, I, I lived in the frustrated, annoyed state of mind all the time. I didn't wake up happy, grateful, cheerful. It has taken years for me to be able to identify that, to understand that, and then to be able to actually start mitigating it, working towards and being practicing, showing up consistently for myself. And so, Dr. Joe did a great had a great way to explain it. He, again, if you don't know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is, he's an amazing individual that understands metaphysics from a whole other level, was able to heal his own self, which is why he's now able to share with others about the difference between 3D reality of what we are, of getting up, going to the store, going to a job, going to whatever for a car ride. That's the 3D reality we're in versus the actual quantum reality, which is where we go right before we fall asleep. How many of you, when you lay your head down on the pillow and you are kind of drifting off, and that last little moment of drift off is what you all of a sudden remember that is the department of your quantum thinking. Sorry about that. And it's the time, maybe it's the time that you take a nap and you're asleep, but you're not fully asleep. Like you're kind of still aware of what's going on. That's another brain wave of in that quantum state. So anywho, I am so glad that Dr. Joe explained it because he does it so much better than I do. He's very much more refined on the terminology and how to, because he spent a lifetime sharing that. So we're going to pause for a second and, open up the mic and be able to allow people to jump up and share about what they heard on the topic, introduce yourself, and all of those things. So we're going to start here in Clubhouse. Miss Biggles, you're up here. Tracy, do you want to jump in, say hi, and touch on the topic of maybe what you heard Dr. Joe talk about? She might be listening mode. That's okay. Mr. K, come on with it.
Hey, she's sleeping a little bit more than I was just now. I was just zoning out, and then all of a sudden your voice popped up. Like, whoa, David, your voice has changed so drastically. Yeah, I've been just, spinning reality and dealing with what's in the vortex, as Abraham Hicks would say, and working on putting more and more of the good stuff in. Getting within a week, it looks like, of the money being cleared for this research analyst position, and knocking on doors with regards to business perspectives. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really, I want to do Dr. Joe's whole program once I get these couple of things going. I've got one of the heart rate variability monitors here, and I was just thinking about putting it on and starting to use it while I was drifting listening to it. But yeah, what have you guys been up to? Where are you right now? You're in Mexico?
Yes, sir, we are. We're in central Mexico, just above Mexico City. So, but Mr. K, you're 100%, spot on with the whole like going to Dr. Joe's, his workshops and his retreats is the word I was looking for. That's something definitely on David and I's list. The gentleman that we actually are interviewing tomorrow on our Hello Pivot Live is our mentor, Casey Salgi, and he has went to a Dr. Joe retreat and raves about it, how amazing it is, and is excited to go to another one. And it's just because of what he got from that experience. And, what you shared right now is just kind of, understanding, like, when Abraham Hicks is talking about what's in the vortex and kind of what's going on and how we're creating those things and how those situations are, showing up and how we, manifest them. And so I'm spot on with you about, definitely getting into more of Dr. Joe retreats. I had him share today about what, you know, the frequency of money is, because it's always so much easier for someone who has, a platform that has been teaching this for 30 plus years to be able to explain it in simple terms, and then have a discussion around it, because Dr. Joe has a unique capability. I know someone on fan base earlier was sharing too the love for Dr. Joe, and it just comes down to the simple fact that Dr. Joe is what changed David Nye's mindset. I actually discovered Dr. Joe through Ed Milet in one of his interviews, and I was enamored by the capabilities that he, was showcasing and being able to share with others. And I actually shared that with David and our mentor Casey, and they both, jumped in, and that is to this day why David chooses to meditate, is because of Dr. Joe, is because of how Dr. Joe has been able to break this down, explain it to in layman terms for us to understand, anybody to understand, and it allows us to actually understand and comprehend. So when we're, within the identity of, trying or figuring out that identity is what I was trying to say. And so, that's something like, tomorrow we'll touch bases on, the same conversation with our mentor, Casey, about how much impact, Dr. Joe and Abraham Hicks have had, and their understandings of that we are the frequency. And so when you ask that question in the back channel of, what is the real frequency of money? Well, the simple answer is you. You are the frequency of your money. I am the frequency of my money. David is the frequency of his money. And what I mean when I say your money, it is what your direct relation of what's in your bank account. Um, the biggest thing that comes down the part is that the frequency of money is broken up into three different parts. The three different parts are vibrational match, it's the self-belief, and it's what is your dominant vibration. So your vibrational match, do you have a are you vibrating at a high frequency? Are you waking up with gratitude in your heart, with the thought of gratitude, of what you have, of the people that are around you, what you get to do, the opportunities knocking at your door, or even maybe some of the challenges. When we can stop and actually think, or not think our challenges, but be appreciative and grateful for our challenges. Those challenges are what actually brings us more gratitude. And like David said, the energy of receiving is gratitude. That is the simplest energy of receiving. So, what is the match of the vibration? What about your self belief? You believe that you could be making or having $10,000 every month recurring into the bank? Do you believe that you are a multimillionaire? Do you believe that you have trillions of dollars to your name? Do you believe those things? You can tell yourself, but do you believe that? And that takes so much time of being just with yourself, and not so much time. I should restate that. It takes you being consistent to sit down and be with yourself on a daily basis and show yourself gratitude for the smallest things. I'm grateful that we are in central Mexico and we get to have this conversation today. I'm grateful that, David's by my side every day. I'm grateful that our cat gets to travel with us. I'm grateful that today it's not as hot that it was last week, but I'm so grateful that it was hot last week, because you know what? That means I'm alive. I'm grateful that we have water to be able to drink. I'm grateful for so many things that I actually stopped to find myself now in a more recent, days, they say, and weeks, that I will stop and be like, what are 10 things I'm grateful for right now? And I will list literally 20 things because I don't want to stop because I just like, oh, I think of another thing. And I list that out to myself because I find that when I list out my gratitudes of what, I mean, as simple as I'm glad we have running water. I'm glad that I have shoes on my feet that I can walk over and put the ice tray into the ice, into the freezer. So that I'm glad I have a freezer that I can have ice, you know? So it's just literally having that attitude of gratitude. And I know it's so cliche. Oh my gosh, it's so cliche, but it's real and it's actually on point. And so the third one is your dominant vibration. Your dominant vibration is who are you every day? Who do you wake up to be? What are you known as? What is, some people are known as just being real like men. Some people are known to wake up as being angry. Some people are known to wake up and be like, like they just ate a bunch of candy and hyper and happy, and you're like, what the heck? Why are you so happy and chipper in the morning? Well, and the funny thing is we make those people wrong, especially the ones that are happy and chipper, and those people are the ones that are more likely to have more money, more wealth, and more opportunities at their doorstep and in their life because of their attitude. I know from a personal experience in my life that I will share this, I used to wake up grumpy, grouchy, constantly frustrated, annoyed, just pissed off.
Me.
No, it wasn't even at David. It was life. It was everything. But David got the brunt of it. He got to see it. He's the one that, if he asked a question, he got the response of it. He got, and God bless me because, he's still here. Boy, good job, love. Good job, Tara.
Yeah, you guys are fortunate because you sound so consistent with your relationship. It's amazing. I mean, I know that you're human and you go through things also, but you guys are just like always that awesome vibration.
Thanks, Mr. K. I appreciate that, brother. And we share these things with you because, a lot of the times.
Some days we ask each other at the end of the day, did I make it? Am I getting thrown over the rail today? No, you made it. You made it another day. I didn't throw you over the patio today. As I get thrown over the patio.
Yeah. I forgot what I was talking about. Well, no, it's due to the fact that, Tara shared yesterday, David is a lot more blunt than I am. And I started laughing. She shared with people, a lot of people, hang around the campfire and they don't do anything. And yet there's a lot of people that know about these things that we talk about and they don't take action. And yet they wait till it's too late. And just because you're consistent coming up to the campfire, just because you have more knowledge than the average bear and you're not taking action, that even makes it worse than you not know. But now you actually do know and you're still not doing anything. This is that viewpoint. This is who you are and how you show up in that energy and vibration that you have, that me and Tara know it so well because that was us.
Yeah.
My father continuously kept telling me, son, are you sure you want to be doing all that stuff? And I'd be like, yeah, what you talking about? I'm good. He'd be like, hey, look, here are the facts. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. And I decided not to listen. And so many times, we decide not to listen, knowing that we should do something different, but we're addicted to that comfort. We're addicted to the ways of thinking because we don't want to face the man in the mirror. We don't, or the woman in the mirror. We don't want to do something different because it's comfortable. Prime example would be a lot of people are still comfortable doing their emails, doing their business the way that they used to do it 5, 10, 2, 3, 4 months ago, when right now there's this thing out there that you literally can talk to and it can help you increase your business. It can help you increase your workflow and productivity, and yet we choose not to do it because it's uncomfortable. It's doing something different. And I know that because that was me with this AI tool that we share with our pivot members that literally allows you to post on your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your TikTok, your Twitter, your YouTube, your Pinterest, all of this in one app right? With your Canva, your scheduler, and your actual, ChatGPT all in one. Tara found it and I didn't use it. I went back to doing the one for one, post here, post there, post there. And Tara looked at me and said, "Hey, Lotto Stud, I found you a damn Ferrari, and your ass is still walking to work when you have a Ferrari sitting in the garage." And that is exactly the same transition that a lot of us are facing right now. And you can utilize this AI in your relationship. You could use this AI in your business and your communication and going back and learning some things you didn't know, but now you have somebody that won't beat you up or get frustrated or tell you this, that, and the other, and it literally can go at your pace, and yet we still won't use it. And then when these robotics come around, people are going to be like, whoa, where did that come from? What do you mean? It's been here. Just like Grammar Check, just like Alexa, just like Siri, it's been here. That's been AI at its finest. But now it's getting more sophisticated, right? Now it's at our front doorstep to where now you're going to show up to your job and there's going to be a robot that's doing your job and they're going to hand you a pink slip and it's going to be like, whoa, where did this come from? Well, it came from you not paying attention because you were comfortable and you were worried about everything and anything other than your actual position and where you are in life. And we sometimes, especially for myself, looking back at it, with this AI, you wouldn't need me anymore. Salespeople are not going to be needed anymore. Literally, my company literally could have sent each one of my major clients an Oculus, a headset, or an Apple Vision Pro, and said, "Hey, instead of David, flying and staying in the hotel 2 or 3 days and coming to see you for an hour, 2 hours, and me having to pay for all his meals, all of his food, and his flight back, and anything in
between. And your meals, because you're going to take care of them out too.
Exactly. Now I can just send this client some headsets and be done with it. This right here is where we're all going to, where now, instead of them having 5 salesmen that went across the country, they now only need one. Let's go to the next. Well, not only you're right, because now you wouldn't even much need me. You now can create a chatbot that would have all the information these clients and customers would answer, and now these clients and customers can come and ask in this 3D immersive world whenever they wanted to on their time in different languages. And now the company gets to increase its productivity and its income tenfold. Because David doesn't speak Spanish, David doesn't speak French, David doesn't speak, Russian and all that other stuff, but this robot does. And this is where we continue to share with people, what is your frequency with money? Because it is about growing. It is about shifting. It is about changing with these times that are right upon us. And it's not, 5, 10 years, 20 years. It's happening now. Where, yesterday, God forbid, I was in a room and there was a room about AI and they were talking about the chatbot and the guy was like, well, maybe, to do your book launch, you can, do your book launch, through a radio station. And this lady was like, oh, yeah, I can do that. I should do that. I'm like, no, why are we looking at these old school ways of thinking? First of all, nobody's listening to no damn radio anymore. No, literally, give me an emoji if you listen to the radio. You're not. You're on Clubhouse. You're on LinkedIn. You're on your Apple Music. You're listening to something on YouTube. You're not listening to the radio anymore. And not to mention, if you haven't noticed, nobody's given any authors, I don't care who you are, 5-10 minutes of radio time to launch their book. You got 30 seconds, 15 seconds, a minute, or depending on how much you want to pay. And so, this is where I continuously, and I had to come off mic and I had to say, hey, why are we going back to our grandma, grandpa, uncle, cousin way of thinking that worked back then, but that's not now. Not to mention, your book is for children. Why are we even thinking and considering the radio? We should be thinking about a virtual 3D space that a lot of these kids are on and implementing to showcase your book. And you wouldn't believe it just got skated over because the unknown is fear. The unknown is, oh, I don't know about that. So I'm not going to open up a conversation and ask more questions or have an open heart about it. I'm just going to deflect and go back to talking about some old school, outdated strategy that's not going to work. And, and I'm here to share with you guys all. We got to be able to pivot and change. And I remind us, if we look back, I don't care if you're 50, 60, if you're 40, 30, there was a time in our life when we were kids that we saw transitions of how technology has shifted. And so often nowadays, now being that adult and being older, it's like talking to a brick wall. I mean, come on. Have you forgotten? Has life got a hold of us that much that we're stuck and we're programmed in our certain ways that we're talking about these robots and how they're going to change the world? Your ass is already a robot. What are you talking about? And so this is where we continue as I started out from the jump of, yeah, I'm not here to be candy coat. I'm not here to, tell you, yeah, it's going to be okay. No, shit is not about to be okay. Regardless if there's a black swan, if the stock market, if the dollar goes down, any of this, shit is about to change now. And you have to be aware of what's going on and not be having your head in the sand and people be like, oh, what happened? You didn't happen is what happened.
That's too cute. So, and what you share there reminds me of this quote that says, "You are only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination." You are only limited by weakness of attention and poverty of imagination. That it was Neville Goddard that said that. If you know who he is, it's pretty cool. And is very much within the same realm of, Dr. Joe and Bob Proctor and, Abraham Hicks. And it's just really understanding of where your attention goes, your energy flows. And if you're thinking on the realm of what I don't have, like, oh, for instance, David and I, digital nomads, we don't have vehicles anymore. We don't have a car. So when we walk into town, sometimes you see, like, for instance, there's a couple of cars here in where we are in Guanajuato, where they're BMWs, and like my old BMW I had, the one I sold when we left the country, a 4 Series. And I always stop and be like, man, what would it be like to have my BMW again? And I stop and I have two feelings, and I'm very aware of them. I have the lack mindset, and I know it's lack mindset. I'm like, oh man, to have that again, be able to, ride around in my BMW. And then the other side of that is, no, I get to live in Guanajuato, Mexico, which, next we're, who knows where we're going next, but the adventure of getting to go somewhere next and being able to experience what we're experiencing now. And that, yeah, I got to experience having a BMW 4 Series and a 3 Series, and
And a 7 Series.
Well, yours were 7s, yes.
You drove it like you should.
I did. Drove like I stole it. That's the only way to drive
I
it.
was just going to joke and say, what about the 7 Series right before you said
David only drove 7s. I like the little ones so I can zip in and out of traffic. But you know what? I grew up in pickup trucks and SUVs. So, like, at the end of the day, we grew up in tractors. So you just drive it like you stole it. Like you stole it. Anywho, so my simple point, in that is, I too find, myself experiencing these thoughts. It's so great. I'm so grateful now that I can identify the difference of the thoughts and be able to go, oh, that was a lack mind, kind of a lack, thinking process, like in lack of, and then immediately go, oh, well, what am I grateful for? And because I've done that so many times of being aware of my thought process and what I'm thinking, I've now been able to immediately think, what I'm grateful for. That's just my automatic go-to because of my awareness. And guys, that didn't happen overnight. There was a very long, long, long time in my life that and I think everybody deals with this. You feel like that voice that you have in your mind, that you talk to yourself in your mind. If I felt like I was bipolar half the time, I was like, I'm up, I'm down, I'm happy, I'm sad. What the heck is going on? And it was because I was not in tune with who I was. I was not in tune with myself. I wasn't in tune with it's reassuring. And so, at the end of the day, it was just the more I sat with myself, the more I got in tune with who I was, how ugly I was showing up. Like, to be very frank, I'm surprised I still have people even in my life, i.e., David or my family, because, I wasn't always the most positive, cheerful, fun loving, exuberant human being. And some days I'm not, and that's okay. But the biggest thing is I knew myself to be that happy, bubbly person, but I wasn't showing up to be that person. And so, I really enjoyed that quote, which, you are only limited by the weakness of attention. So where are you focusing your attention? And the poverty of your imagination. We all need to get back to having that creative imagination, just, being kid-like and, thinking about all of the fun things we can create do. And I was watching a TikTok the other day, which was talking about Generation X and the differences of other generations after Generation X. And my brother's Generation X, I'm an exennial is what they call David and I, because we were right on the cusp of Generation X and millennial. And we both relate more with Generation X in the way they, were raised, and because of the close proximity that we had of family members or, parents that were in the same generation. My point being is, that poverty of imagination. This TikTok was talking about, when we were kids, like going outside was the greatest adventure of all.
Yeah.
Like it was like, heck yes, let me outside, because outside I don't have you watching me. I can go get into whatever I want to do. I can, lay in the grass and pick daisies. I can ride my bike. I can, I was about to say effed up, following my brother on down a jump or a hill or something. I could, go play with the neighbor kids. I could, ride over to the store, get a snack or something, snack after I, robbed my piggy bank. Uh, being outdoors, we could, just heck, I'd go across the street and help the neighbor pull. She would pull earthworms for fishing, and she would sell earthworms for the fishermen. So I'd go over there and, have conversations with her and pull worms out of the earth and put them in the cup. And I mean, it was just all great fun. How many of us remember those days that we would build a fort? We would grab a blanket or a sheet and go outside and make a temporary fort for just the day, or maybe it was a temporary shade awning. We were outside getting into stuff and doing things. And I was constantly outside building and creating and doing. And now, like this TikTok we're sharing was, kids now, and we know it, this is the older generation that pops out in us, that kids today are, very much attached to technology. And that's okay, because, the evolution of where we are going with the technology. But this TikTok was showcasing that the newest generation out, that is like the honey badger generation, is what they call it. But they're very much a cross between, they love technology, but they like to be outside like Generation X, because they're back into that creative state. And that's my whole freaking point of why I'm sharing this story, is being more creative and imaginative, or in imagination, letting your imagination run wild and being creative within that. There you go. There we go. So it just comes down to, are you willing to sit with yourself? Are you willing to look at the scale of either high vibration or low vibration? High vibration meaning you're joyful, you're happy, you're, cheerful, you're laughing, you're full of love, you just want the best for everybody, regardless of who people are being around you. Or are you in a lower vibrational state, which is frustrated, angry, annoyed, unhappy, just bleh, you know? The CPI. What CPI is that?
Yeah, it came out like 2:30 this morning.
Huh, I'll have to look.
Making last night really also I am looking at people all the time. Look at this. Oh my God, I love it.
So the stock market and all that that's moving around. I didn't, I do not follow the stock market on a close watch.
No?
I, well, let me say it this way. Well, let me say it this way. Hold on, let me say it this way.
First and foremost, we want all of you to understand that this conversation today is about the frequency of money, not really the actual currency and the stock market and anything of that sort. We also want to let you guys know that we are live and in color on all of our social media outlets. So we definitely want to stick to the topic. So what were you saying, love?
It's like, really at the end of the day, understanding the frequencies that we're in is being in relationship to who we are. And, part of that with, uh, cryptocurrencies and things like that, and traditional investments, those are important things. But like you said, that's not the conversation we're having today. Today's conversation is around who you are showing up to be and how that is in direct relationship to how much generational wealth you're going to create or money that you currently have in your pocket at this moment. And so, when we're talking about these things and we're sharing about this, the three parts of your of money, the frequency of money is your vibrational match, your self-belief, and your dominant vibration. We went over those just earlier, but when you are within understanding, Mr. K asked this question earlier, which was, well, what is the frequency of money? And David in the comments had said, well, you, sir, you are the frequency of money. Everybody is their own frequency of money. And that is a direct relationship of who you're showing up to be. And most of us cannot stop and be within our own awareness of who we are. We want to shift blame to other things. We want to shift blame to other people. We want to shift, all of this, back around to the simple point of, making this other thing. We want to have external focuses. And in reality, it's the internal focus of who we are being within our self, right? And so let's play a little game. This is how you guys are going to identify your frequency of money. And there's two frequencies. There's either money is a high vibrational frequency. That is where money is. If you are in a low frequency vibration, meaning you're in an upset state or you're mad or you're, pissed off or you're, unhappy, unpleasant, meager, whatever those states are, it's a lower vibration of frequency. Doesn't make it wrong, guys, but it's a scale for you to understand where you are within that, to understand that then I'm assessing, I'm here, this is where I'm at, and I'm going there. I want to have generational wealth. I want to be able to experience the abundance of wealth. All of those things, right? So the little game that we're going to play is super easy. Y'all get to play this on your own. You don't have to open your mics or nothing. You don't have to put nothing in. This is something for you to play on your own time. But it is to determine what frequency you're in. So here it goes. What would you do if you won $50 million today? What would you do? What would you do with that money? Would you give it away? Would you keep it and kind of like hoard it? Like, oh, I don't want to run out of it, so I'm going to be super frugal. I'm not going to, let anybody borrow this. I'm going to just kind of hoard it and keep it to myself. Giving away, are you going to stay here and go, I'm going to pay off this bill, I'm going to pay off my my family's bills, I'm going to buy them a house, I'm going to buy them a house, I'm going to donate to this cause, I'm going to start this charity? Is that you're giving away? Or you or the final one is, would you invest it and multiply it, right? So whichever one you chose, That's okay, but it's going to tell you where you're at within the scale, low vibration or high vibration. So if you chose that you would give it away, you would donate it, you would, pay off your bills and everybody else's bills in the family and buy them houses and yourself houses or whatever. What does that say about your frequency? It means that you do not have a good relationship with money. And let me just say this, guys, when I'm sharing this. This little game exercise slapped me in the face. I was like, holy sheep snozzles. What was that? Because as I only do, I share with, open and complete transparency, is that I personally, when I used to think about knowing that we will make generational money for, for generations to come, it was about how I would give it away, how all these good things I would do with it. So I'm speaking to myself when I share this all with you guys, right? So if you wish to give it all away, it means that you do not have a good relationship with money. It means that you use your money as validation. Use your money for validation. Meaning if you look to give your money to, I'm going to, go out here and rescue all the puppies off the street, all the dogs and all the cats off the street that need, homes. I'm going to go do all that. I'm using that as validation of I'm doing something good. When in reality, I don't need any of that money and I can go out and do good right now. I can walk across the street, buy a little scoop of dog food and feed 3 or 4 dogs that are on the corner right this moment and, do my part for the day. I don't need $50 million to be able to do that, right? Your money, it means that your money relationship is unstable because your relationship with yourself is unstable. So when I read that, I was like, oh. So as I shared yesterday, if you caught my live, I was talking about life's aha moments and what I just had an aha moment about of unconditional love and how that I am the vibration of love and I get to choose that regardless of who accepts it or doesn't accept it. And so I realized over the past 3 to 6 months, really eight years, but within the last 3 to 6 months, there I have been doing an exorbitant amount of work on myself to identify who I am, who I need. What is my dominant vibration on a daily basis? Am I showing up on a daily basis as a positive, happy human being, or am I showing up as a complete just curmudgeon and being grumpy and, yucky to people? Like, what is that? And so when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense because it took me up until the last 2 years to really start to learn how to self-love. I self-love myself for the last 42 years of my life. I'm 42 years old, by the way. And what I learned was there was a different way of acceptance. For the first 40 years of my life, I had this way of living and loving myself that was like just confident of arrogance. It was just it oozed arrogance and ego. And then I realized that, and I've been working on a different type of loving myself in a very natural, authentic, healing, prosperous way for myself, which then feels so much better within my vibration that I, want to share that with other people. And it wasn't that I had a wall up and a hand out and be like, nope, back up, Betty. I don't want you around me because I don't like your energy and I don't want you in my realm. Now I'm like, you can be in my realm all you want to. Your vibration is going to dictate whether I, interact with you. You can be around me all you want to be. And so I had to learn that the me wanting to give away money was a direct relationship with me seeking validation, understanding that I didn't have a good relationship with myself, and that my frequency of my frequency happy and the frequency of money was completely out of line. Like I was negative vibration, this was positive vibration. And so that was something that I learned within this little exercise. So would would you keep it or hoard it? Would you keep the $50 million or would you hoard it? Okay. What does that mean? That means that you have an okay relationship with money, but you still have areas that you need to work on because the need to keep it and keep it to yourself is not creative. So you're not low vibration, but you're about mid vibration, and you're not. And I know this sounds so crazy. You're like, Tara, but you wanted to give it away, and that's helping others. Wouldn't that be high vibration? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Nope, it's not. And so when you want to keep it and hoard it, it's still the low to mid vibration, mid to low vibration right there of you wanting to keep that because of you seek security. So when you have the relationship that you have, is that you seek security and then you hold on to it. And money is a vibration that thrives in an environment where you share it when you are within your healthy share. And so what I mean by that is I just talked about if you give it away, how that has a validation attachment. But if you when you're in a healed version and you are in a state of wanting to, okay, I'm going to donate $100 to this cause. It is knowing that when you donate it, it's not so much about, who and how it's going to help others. You know that it's a resource that is going to come back to you tenfold. So when you understand that when you keep it and hoard it, that turns into a vibration of the stingy energy, right? And then the last but not least is invest or multiply it. And that is where that was a mid vibration, mid to upper vibration. It is not in a high vibration, but it is in understanding how, where, and what you would, invest into. And so again, the investment and the multiplying of the money was equivalent to the validation and the security and the adventure within that. And so all of these things, guys, whatever you would do with that $50 million, that's up to you. But when you answer that question, look at why you would give that money away. Look at why you want to keep that money.
The high vibration.
The high vibration is being in gratitude. That is high vibration. So when you have $50 million and you're in a state of gratitude for it, that is high vibration. When you are in a state of appreciation of it, that is high vibration. Now, this is all very, very, very thin lined between this because we all experience, well, I would want to give it away, but I would also want to multiply it. But I also am thankful for it. I mean, the first thing I'm going to have is like, oh, thank God I needed that money. That's gratitude. I would like, why am I not in a high frequency of it? But it is what you would do with it in the long term. And just knowing that the gratitude that you have for anything, not just the money, but for anything, is why you will be in higher frequency of the vibration, closer to the frequency of money. So if you're showing up happy, you're showing up positive, you're showing up understanding that you've done the healing work that you need of your traumas, and that whatever someone's experiencing next to you, or in a conference or a meeting or whatever, social media, whatever they're experiencing, when you understand that that's not you, that's them, but you have gratitude for them about, like what they're going through, it's that state of gratitude. And so when we talk about what is the frequency of money, the frequency of money is high vibrational. The frequency of money is freedom. I mean, Dr. Joe talked about that in the 22-minute clip that we shared, was the state of freedom, the state of joy, the state of happiness, of being able to have that resource. And so being
But
in
those aren't actually doing anything with the money.
no, that's bingo. That's the point. And that's what we have been
But
conditioned.
okay, but I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused. If you know me, I'll hold your feet to the fire. So the question was, what would you do with the money? So if it didn't state what relationship would you have to the money coming in. It asked what you would do with it, whether you would give it away, hoard it, or invest it. I would do all of the three, but I'd initially be highly grateful and grateful that I could use that as a mechanism of shifting things around.
And you, my friend, have just figured out the exact point of the game, because the game was, would you have gratitude? And I didn't even mention it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the first thing I would do is probably look at the sky and be like, thank you, God. Finally, let's do this.
Yep. And most people would, but they don't realize that vibrational state is what keeps the money there. Because most people go into the, oh my God, what would I do with it? So I, at the end of the day, holding feet to the fire, it was a setup question to ask yourself of were you focused on what would you do or how would you feel? And all of us went into, well, I feel a certain type of way. And the whole point of what today's conversation is the frequency, which is the feeling. What are you feeling? Right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does now.
Now that I gave you the answer. But it's not even me giving you the answer. You got to the answer on your own.
Well, here's a great example. About a month ago, I got pulled over driving Uber and found out that my license was suspended due to a red light ticket. And so I've gone through the whole spectrum of frustrated, angry, alone, depressed, happy to not be driving, all these things. But what I did one night was I laid down and I said, thank you, God, for showing me the answer to this prosperity situation. And I didn't voice it exactly like that, but that was what I was asking over and over as I fell asleep. And I fell asleep into a dream where there was this guy and his two kids, and then I knew the guy really well, and I knew that I'd given him the last chance at real friendship, pending his transition into something more positive. And I was giving his kids comfort and reassurance that everything was going to be okay, and that they could always call me if they needed somebody to talk to. And in the background was this other guy named Caesar. And Caesar is a yacht owner that I canceled on a yacht trip on New Year's Eve to take a much higher paying yacht trip that I hadn't really realized that I had already committed to, and I wasn't sure if this other yacht trip was really happening. So I canceled on Caesar the last minute. But I dreamt about Caesar about a month ago in relation to what the answer was for this prosperity channel. And thanking God, thank you for showing me the answer. And I woke up going, is Caesar the answer? Like, am I going to contact him of all people? That's so out of left field, it seems. Well, the very next day, Caesar texted me. And Caesar and his boat, even though it's been breaking down a bunch of times, has been the only reason I've been able to pay rent and eat in the last month or so. And so at the same time, I'm waiting on this $1 billion, literally $1 billion, to clear the Panamanian finance authorities for this school system where I've been hired at $80,000 to $100,000 a year to start. And once that money comes clear, the pastor CEO has told me that he's paying me in advance for a full year, contracted to lock me in. I'm like, okay. And then at the same time, I've got this business prospectus that I've been putting around a little bit. But at the same time, that's what I went into that dream doing, was giving gratitude to God for the answer. And I've been totally thankful. And Caesar and our friendship has come to whole new level after that happened. Because I told him about the dream and stuff too, and how confusing it was to me. But I was so thankful that he contacted me. And so, with $50 million, I would have that same response. With 80 or 100,000 for the school system, I've already got that response and gratitude, number one. And the only reason that I even want the money is so that I can continue in this world and do God's work and help guide people and empower them. The only reason I haven't been with you guys more is this eyesight thing that challenges me with reality and with doing computer work. I try to not stare at the screen. I've been listening to a lot of that to just reprogram my subconscious mind along these avenues. You've always been in my thoughts and heart, but I just haven't been around in the rooms a whole lot because of the vision challenges.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. K. And, I absolutely, yeah, I was just telling that with David today about my dreams. I was like, why are my dreams so vivid? And I was like, I know the answer. It is because we, when we're in a conscious state with our eyes awake, like walking, talking during the day, we have this little roadblock up called our conscious mind. And what our conscious analytical mind was taught back in the day and through our conditioning years was to do things one way, trade our time for money. If you put in this effort, if you do these things, then this money will come. Or if you network with these people, this money will come. And in reality, our subconscious, which is at play while we're sleeping, aka our dreams, we're absolutely moving through, we're clearing up traumas in our dreams. We're experiencing new things that we're going to be experiencing. The answers are going to be coming to us in our dreams, like Caesar popping up and being like, hey, yeah. And you're like, what the heck? No. Because when you woke up, and your analytical mind turned on, then it was all of a sudden like, no, I mean, Caesar and I, we're not on the best of terms right now, or we're on the, opposite pages. And then all of a sudden, here comes Caesar texting you. And so there we are. And so being aware of those things, Dr. K, there you go. I'm going to call you Dr. K now. Mr. K, is just, you're there. And the biggest roadblock that all of us have, because all of us here have gratitude at some point, it's it's exercising gratitude at all times. But the roadblocks that we have is our conscious mind, and it is B, the time that our conscious mind puts on it. So let me give you an example. You purchase a house and you get a loan for this house and you have a 30-year loan. Okay. Well, your conscious mind understands that you took out a 30-year loan. So your mind automatically equates that in 30 years, this house will be paid off. Now, by tips and tricks and trades that you could probably pay it off in, 10, 20, 15 years, 25 years. You could pay it off sooner if you came up with the strategy to do that. But again, we're putting in the constraint of time. The reason why none of us are trillionaires right now is because we all believe that we are, but the amount of time in between, I'll be that in 5 years, or that'll be me, I'll have that in 10 years. When I get this, and this action and item in place, then I'll have that $1 trillion. Or when this investment pops off, I'll have that $1 trillion. See, we all our conscious mind ties it to something concrete because that's the way we've been taught. And what Dr. Joe teaches us, and Abraham Hicks, and I mean, there's a ton of these people out here that are just amazing in what they do. What they're teaching us is that when you sit down and go into a meditative state, that you are then inside the quantum state of mind instead of the 3D state of mind of, doing the dishes, going to the bathroom, walking, talking, breathing. You're in that quantitative state, and that quantitative state of mind and that quantitative field right there is where you experience things now, which is why Dr. Joe talks about the way to get that, to attract that to you faster, is by the experience now. And so when you sit down and you are meditating, or you're just sitting out on a park bench, just, enjoying the nature and people walking by in your own solitude, and you are experiencing overjoyed. I mean, all of us, look, this is your homework for tonight. Whenever you all do your meditation, or you're just 5 seconds before you're about to fall asleep and your head's already on the pillow, I want you all internally to feel the way it would be to feel $50 million. I have $50 million. What does it feel like? How do you feel? I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm excited. And you do that when you're either in a meditation or right before you go to sleep, because that is where you're in the brain wave of where you can hack the subconscious, to where you can get your conscious mind to teach your subconscious and give that subconscious that manifest, or that reality that you want to experience now, and you just experience now. And the more times you do that, the faster that comes your reality. That is the formula of how to do it. Mr. Jones?
Yeah, I love that, love. I absolutely love that. And welcome on in, Owen. Good to see you, brother. Hopefully, I don't know where you are in the world, but I'm pretty sure you're traveling somewhere, first class or something. Glad to have you in here. And, more importantly, today's conversation is, the frequency of money. Tara has been laying down some great tips, some great tricks. We just had a good game that she shared, and it really rings essence. And one of the most important things that I think today I've gotten out of, I've shared with people. Rich people educate themselves, broke people entertain themselves, and it's not just about money. It's more so about how you spend your time and where you spend your time, which leads to exactly what you're talking about, right? Is the frequency, is what your mindset is, the difference between rich and broke. And a lot of the times people that are broke have that problem mentality. I can't do that, I can't do this, and blaming other people for situations, other than taking it upon their own responsibility of how they can show up and what they can do and how they need to be different. Especially when I share with people from the beginning my relationship with money, and how I got taught about money and got taught what to do with money. And that's a program, that's a system that has been installed in us. And until we can get our heads out of the sand, until we can get out of the forest and really be able to say, hey, this key that I'm using ain't working for my ass no more, I might want to go and try to see if I can find some more keys that open up some different doors and give me a different perspective, aka a different experience.
Hey,
Which is what we're all looking for at the end of the day. But if you want a different experience, that requires you to do different things and to do, open up to different things. And a lot of times people aren't willing to do that because of their comfort zone and not the unknowing. And I can share that of, when you did talk about frequency and vibration and energy, it was like, I'm not sure about that. This
okay,
white girl,
Tara.
this white girl has went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on some shit.
You're like, what
And
are you eating?
yeah, but now knowing what I know now, with not just understanding the facts that are laid out.
Yep.
And me, I love facts. So you drop some facts to me, I'm all on it, and it's factual. And then being able to experience it as well, and especially when we talk about meditation and being in that state of mind, it really is about the feel,
Yeah.
right? Of you feeling that you already have accomplished whatever your goals are. And if that is money, it will be there. And the one thing that we share with people, money isn't everything. And we all know that. And people with thousands, millions of dollars still have issues, still have problems, and they have all this money. Where somebody with a one-bedroom apartment is a whole lot happier with $20, $30 in their bank account and living the life of their dreams.
Mhm.
And so it's all depending on the energy perspective, the viewpoint that you bring to it, really how you look at life. And so, with that being said, anybody else want to tap in? Giggles, Mr. K, Owen, you guys want to share?
Good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening to you all. It's been a hot minute. What up, Tracy? What up, Dave? I literally, I haven't opened up the Clubhouse app in about 6 weeks. I'm pleased you guys are here. All right, we're talking about money. We're talking about the frequency. The frequency, if I'm honest, I don't really get it yet. But money, I know about. So here are my thoughts on it. Money is a currency. A currency is just a way of exchanging, in a simple way, bartering for products or services. And yeah, money is the bit that we all want because it's the currency that you can buy anything that you want. But at any point, you can exchange your money for products and services or your products and services for money. People spend way too much time talking about money when what they should be talking about is the products or services that will be exchanged for that money. So, if somebody wants to get rich, somebody wants to have lots of money, yes, you can manifest it, you can meditate, you can change your state of mind, you can do all those things. That's awesome. But fundamentally, no one's giving you any of their money unless you're going to give them something of equal value back in return, the product or the service. If you have a product, you should be focused on making your product better and cheaper than everyone else's. Then you'll find the money will be exchanged for that very quickly. If you provide a service, you need to bring value. You need to focus on bringing people value, and then they'll happily exchange their money for that service. But if you focus on the money, well, nobody's excited about giving you their money. Nobody wants to swap their money for your money. So it's kind of a road to nowhere. So you have to focus on bringing people value or a better product, and then the money kind of comes along at the end of it. And it's really, really tough when you own a business or if you're in sales. You're so uber focused on taking the money out of someone's pocket that you kind of forget to bring them value. And I do the opposite. Is when a client or a potential client speaks to them, I put myself in their shoes, in their mindset, and think, what is it that they want? What is it that they want to hear? What is it that they want? And I do my absolute darndest to give it to them, to give them the value, to give them the product, to give them the service. And then you'll find people are more than happy to pay when it's good value. People tell me all day long they've got no money, they can't afford it. But suddenly, if you offered them a Ferrari for $12, suddenly they got $12 to spend. So it's not the money that's the problem, it's the value. And that is my little rant for you.
Brother, that was so spot on. You are
I want a $12 Ferrari.
Yeah, I want a $12 Ferrari. That must come out of Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And you're so spot on. It's the mentality that we bring to it, and it's the value of the product. And especially now, more than anything, it is the best time in the world, in world history, for us all to be able to create this value because we all have a story that needs to be shared, and there's plenty of outlets for us to be able to utilize that are going to be not free for long. As you all are starting to understand, Instagram is about to start charging you, for how much views you got. TikTok's already there. And, when they came out with that blue check mark on Twitter first, and Instagram joined, that was just the beginning of it all. To where, we're going to be charged for, how many posts you go, how many posts you post a month, how many times you can go live. It's about to be unreal. That is even more importantly why we share with you guys that it's time to pivot and transition into this Web3, this metaverse, this this new vertical or the immersive world that you all should be able to implement and to utilize, especially joining us in the Hello Plaza that you guys can join from your cell phone, your laptop, or your VR headset that we're live in right now. That you guys can come and join us. But other than that, love, does anybody else have anything they want to share or chime in on as well? Giggles, Mr. K?
I don't know. I think it's in the vortex. And there's ships, like I mentioned.
Absolutely, Mr. K. I wanted to comment on, what Owen shared too, and just in the perspective that there's two perspectives to it, right? There's the value, which is what Owen was just sharing, and understanding that if you provide a service, you gotta bring value. And David and I preach that all the time because, boy, let me tell you, you'd be amazed. The people, we check some resource or the sources of some resources. And it's like, no.
You charging how much?
As my mom said, they don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. Just saying. But anywho, so I love that perspective. And today's perspective was simply just, turning this on its head, talking about the frequency of what that is, because of understanding that it's not really money. The whole title of the frequency of money is not really even about money. It's about who you are being. And it go in hand of what like Owen was sharing is what value are you bringing forth? And a part of the value that you bring is your authenticity of who you are and the integrity of who you are, and to bring that forward. And so, there's people out there that can do a job, and then there's people that don't go past what was needing to be delivered and go, the extra mile. And how many of you would, make sure that you go do business with that person because they went the extra mile? I can bet you a dime to a dozen that person's attitude and frequency is high vibration, meaning that that's the reason why they went the extra miles, because the integrity that they have within themselves and their work and what they do. And so, I love this conversation today. It's been a different one. We don't always do this type of conversation. The Wednesday side is kind of, the time that I get to pick the topic. And so this was my topic this week. Usually it is around something that is within the metaphysics state and the actual understanding of business, and who we are and how we're showing up, and the value and the community that we're building within the ecosystem. And guess what? We're all a part of this ecosystem. We all are valuable within this ecosystem. And it's time for us to recognize that it's just not the ecosystem of David and Tara at Hello LOC, but this is everybody. And this ecosystem is bigger than us. It's bigger than you. And it needs all of us, because we all bring some great value, some great experience, great expertise to the table. And when we do that, we're dynamic, just the dynamics that we have. We then become this cluster of intelligence, and that is beautiful within itself. So we're going to get ready to wrap this room up. We've been here for 2 hours. We'd love to spend it with you guys. We've had a great conversation. Mr. Jones, you have any closing thoughts as we wrap it up?
No, Chef Andy had just entered the room.
Hey, Chef Andy.
And so he jumped on the phone. And so real quick, guys, if you guys don't know about Chef Andy, I highly encourage you to go check out Chef Andy at his Biz in a Box that I've put up at the top, the singchefsauces.com. And if you want to know what we do and how we do it, just go look at Chef Andy's Biz in a Box, where he came to us with an outdated website. I think he might have had a link tree at one point, and he came and got with us. And now we've been able to upgrade his systems, his foundation, to where now he's able to showcase his sauces and pasta sauces and his recipes and his apparel line and so many other new things that are upon us that are coming here pretty soon that he's ramping up for, and to where now he's able to, get out of the crusty, dusty landing page, the crusty, dusty static website, and really implement 2D and 3D, where he also now can show people his QR code that comes with his Biz in a Box, that he no longer has to show a business card to. People can learn all they want to about it, and then he can be able to separate himself and say, hey, I have a virtual 3D immersive storefront that you can go into right now from your phone. People are going to look at it and say, what? Hold on, metaverse? I don't have my VR headsets. Oh, no, you're good. You can join in from right now on your phone. Just click right here. In his Biz in a Box, there's a big ass button that says, virtual storefront. And if you guys are following us on actual live right now in our Hello Plaza, you'll see that I'm about to take a tour of his Hello Plaza storefront, to where, you can learn about, his actual sauces, the story of the sauces. You can read more about his actual apparel line. You can also be able to, come and look at every single last one of his actual pasta sauces, from his tomato basil, his sausage and fennel, and his vodka cream. And not only that, guess what? Right here where it says this big old button to discover more, and it says click here, it literally takes you to where you can go to his actual Biz in a Box, and you'll be able to see his entire Biz in a Box from this one page, to where you guys can virtually be able to see it in a completely different way. And Chef Andy, if you're back off the phone, I'd love to hear from you. I see we got Miss Denise in the building as well. Come on up, Miss Denise. Hopefully all is well. Go ahead, Chef Andy. What you got for us, brother?
Hey, ciao, everybody. Yeah, really great. Sorry I came in a little bit late. Just cooking in the house here. But anyway, yes, I think what a blessing it is to have found you and Tara on Clubhouse, and also take advantage of the latest technology is really a key because, again, if we're stirring something that has been overcooked and overdone, especially noodles that are way overdone, we want to start afresh. We want to get a new pot, put a lot of salt in it, get that water boiling, and get some fresh pasta in there and cook it up right. And that's what we do when we cook up and hook up with David and Tara. You will not regret it. And get on that cutting edge, get what's happening now, because time waits for no one, man. We can get all the money in the world back, but we can never get back time. So do it now, do it when you can, because nobody's promised tomorrow. And every day is a gift, brother and sisters. Okay, amen. I land my whatever.
I love it, Chef. I love it, Chef Andy. Always cooking up something. Now, what are you cooking today?
I know you cooking something.
You're gonna make me hungry.
Real quick, I got some raviolis. We make some brown butter sage sauce, and I got a nice arugula salad with some fresh fennel and shaved pecorino romano. That's it. Come on over.
I knew it.
Way.
I knew it.
I love it. Thanks, Chef Andy, for jumping in. No worries that what time it is. We always enjoy hearing what you're cooking. And I'm telling you guys, go out and check out those sauces. I was working on this business in a box, and it just continued to always make me hungry. Whether you go out there and get the vodka cream, the sausage and fennel, or just a good old grandma's sauce. So, at the end of the day, it just comes down to the simple fact of the tomato basil, grandma sauce, like is what I was calling it. But it comes down at the end of the day, guys, to help support the community. So that's how you guys can jump out and check out Chef Andy and what he's up to and all the fun things. And again, at the end of the day, we appreciate you, Chef Andy.
Yeah. And so we also have Miss Denise in the house. Miss Denise, good to have you up. She popped out real quick. Oh, she went down. Miss Denise, you're more than welcome to come back up. You don't have to talk if you don't want to. Don't be scared.
She said, no, I'm out. Bye.
Go ahead, Miss Denise. What you got for us?
About anything I had to face on crunch time. I had a wine festival filled with probably over 5,000 people this weekend, and I've had to work product and busy. So I had to pop in because I saw y'all. So say hello for a second.
Hello. It's good to have you, ma'am. And you being busy is a good thing. Getting those pickles and everything else pickled. It's not just pickles, it's everything else. So, at the end of the day, thank you so much, Miss Denise, for being here. Good luck and have fun at your wine festival coming up. Wine sounds good. Wine with the pasta that Chef Andy's making. Boy, we're just going to have a full meal right here and make you all hungry. So, with that said, we greatly appreciate it, Miss Denise and Chef Andy and Mr. K. We thank you for showing up and sharing today. It's so good to have you when you do pop in. We totally understand. It's good to have you, Giggles. You've been in listening mode, but no worries. But outside of that, got any closing remarks, Mr. James?
No, I think at the end of the day, we want you guys all to really have that key conversation as we started out, with the frequency of money. What does money mean to you? And really dig deep and ask yourself, hey, what does money mean to me? What is my relationship with money? Have I changed my relationship with money as I was when I was in high school or when I was in college, or when I was, had this money or when I didn't have this money? What is my relationship with it? Because it is an energy. It is a vibration. And I want you all to understand, if you don't leave here remembering anything else, you are the damn money. Okay? You are the money. I walk around here sometimes and I think to myself and I'm like, and I beat myself on the chest And I'm like, I am the damn money. Regardless of what anybody else says, I am that. And when you have that mentality, I can assure you that you will start reacting and doing things in a different way. And this is what we share with you guys all. As Charles was talking about, you can meditate, you can pray, you can wish, you can do all of these things, but it takes you to do something different. It takes you to get those Tommy and Jerry's moving. It takes you to get uncomfortable. It takes you to allow fear to not be, the feared. What is the definition of fear? Everybody says, false evidence of being real, right? And you guys know my definition of it is focused energy arranged to react. Fear is the beginning of wisdom. When you do have fear, you need to look at it in its eye and say, let's go. Because on the other side of that fear is your success. And when you can be brave enough to face your fear, and I'm here to share with you, there's a whole different world. And this is fear in your relationship. This is fear in your business. This is fear in your relationship with yourself. More important, there's a lot of traumas and dramas and patterns and programs that we have running that we really have to face and ask ourselves, hey, is this actually working for me? Or do I need to make a shift and a change? Some people are going to hear it. Some people are going to ignore it. Some people are going to let it go in one ear and out the other. But to that one person that it sticks, I want you to be able to say to yourself, it's okay, right? It's okay to change and shift and do something different, because at the end of the day, what else you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right. But other than that, love, I appreciate you bringing this to our conversation to our forefront. I want you guys all to definitely, if you have time tomorrow, come join us for our Hello Pivot live at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Right, we won't be on Clubhouse. We won't be on LinkedIn Audio. This will fully be in our metaverse. Where look, we talk about money. We talk about change. If your ass hasn't hit 4 buttons to come into the metaverse and see what this new experience is about, shame on you. Real talk. Okay. This is
Send me the link, David. Now you just to even get.
you got time on your phone. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat for you and everybody else. We got it nice and simple and easy. We got the
Easy
directions
breezy around here.
and all of it to give you guys easy access, so you don't be the same people we were. And look, I say it that way because I'm upfront and honest, and I want you to hear it like we heard it. We had Miss Chocolate Storm come into our room 5 months straight. David, Tara, what are you doing? Get your butt into metaverse. And this was when it wasn't you can join it from your cell phone. No, David, I need to go ahead and drop that $500 and get those occupancies and then come meet me. No, we to drag our feet on figuring out what this metaverse was. And when Tara put those Oculus goggles on and looked at me and said, "Holy shit," she said, "Baby, um, I've already ordered my own headsets. We're not going to be able to share this one headset. This is a completely different world than what we thought it was." And a lot of people think it's for fun and games and for playing. Yes, there are worlds that do have fun and games, but I'm here to share with you, we've been selling you guys short on what the metaverse is by sharing with you, hey, have you seen Roblox? Have you seen Fortnite? The thing that your kids are playing on, that's metaverse. And now digging deeper into it and understanding even more of what it is, we lied to you. It's nowhere near like that because it doesn't have the graphics, it doesn't have the animation, it doesn't have the functionality for an entrepreneur, for a business to run as what you've been seeing your kids play, Fortnite and Roblox. And so this is why we further encourage you to press those buttons, just like you downloaded Clubhouse, just like you downloaded Zoom, Instagram, LinkedIn, all these different apps. You can go download another free app on your phone and literally drop right into our Hello Plaza, and you will see it more than we can sit here and talk and literally beg you at some points to come and see what the future is about and experience something different just like your ass is looking for a different experience. Why maybe you don't go to Walmart no more, you go to Target because it's a different experience. And your business is just like that. Nobody wants to go to that old crusty, dusty ass website or link tree when there's this thing 3D immersive, experience that people can go in. You can gamify your business. You can have coins with your business. You can literally be able to do anything and everything, especially as ChatGPT O came out, especially as the new Gemini came out, yesterday. And then there's more things that are rolling out to where it's copy, paste, drag, drop. That shit is gone. Now just talk. If you can't open up your mouth and open up your heart at this point, then as my good mentor would tell me, your wood is wet. And you just ain't gonna make it, my friends. And so this is where you all have to up your game. You all have to go from Super Mario 1 to now Super Mario 2. You cannot continue to keep playing the same damn level that you know where everything is, where to jump, you know where to do this, you know where to do that. No, it's time to upgrade, my friends. And that's going to take you getting uncomfortable, right?
Yep, I love it.
So with that being said, anybody else got anything they want to say before we get out of here?
I was going to say, what's real? Like, when I was lost. I was from home every day, and that was my go-to. I would block everything else out. And it's like it's a different world. It's an escape. It's an escape from reality. So I thought I can do it with people. So like what? And then when I was back home, we went from there having no place to live to full body. Oh Lord, I can start over everything.
Yep, and the world that you're talking about, we about to start going to build over there too, as we are in our world, and this is where we share with people, And I was just thinking about this earlier, real quick, when we were talking about riding our bikes, going to play, and having fun. You have to remember we've kind of been accustomed to this. When you would go in the house, you would be around your family, you'd be around, you had to act a certain way. When your ass hit that door, when you hit that door,
Brand new person.
it was a brand new world, and you could do anything, everything, ride your bikes, do this, do that, and let's go. And you would just create anything. And that, my friends, is literally where we're at with the metaverse, where you can go and escape, as you just heard this share with you guys. You can escape the traditional 2D, flat, crusty, dusty, screen that we're looking at now, to really be able to immerse yourself in a completely different world. And so with that being said, dive in, right? Click that button. And then look, if you want a demo,
you can take over, baby. I don't even know.
look, we're gonna have to meet. We're gonna have to talk about it.
No.
We're gonna have to meet. We have to talk about it. We need to do some exchanging.
Ain't nothing to experience. Cybersecurity. I'm not field. I can pay and look and watch. I don't want to.
The building is not on duty.
You
Not
and me
on
both.
duty.
You and me both.
Bob the Builder over here.
Yeah, Bob the Builder. I got Bob the Builder over here. I got Tim the Tool Man over here. Not only is she beautiful, but she can build.
Y'all, you don't even know. When David and I bought our house, we put an 800 square foot deck on the outside of our house.
Oh, shit.
And when we were doing it, I was like, we should put a deck out here, instead of putting concrete as a big patio, let's put a deck out here. And so we decided to do that. And David's like, okay, well, who are we going to hire? And I was like, I can do it. And he's just looking at me going, oh, hell no.
No.
Hell no. And I was like, yeah, I've built many a deck in my life. Like, you don't understand. Growing up, I had my daddy and I and my brother, we were building everything.
You said you were building. That meant that I was going to be doing all the hard work.
You were going to be listening.
This was an argument.
Yeah.
This was a breakup. Just one nail away from happening.
So needless to say, because David was like, nope, not on duty. And I was like, fine. Luckily, we had a very professional gentleman who was a master woodworker. Yeah. And oh my God, the level of detail that he had, and I'm glad that we had him. Mine would look good, but not as good as his.
I got a funny story about before we get out of here. After we got the, she's talking about building shit. She's talking about building shit. So we got the deck
I knew
done.
what was gonna happen.
We got the deck done, and we're having the family over. And there's everybody knows, there's this glass, like a glass table. Back in the day, a glass table, boy, you had a glass table. Shit,
This glass table
it was thick. It was real thick. And we were gonna have a fire outside. And Tara's great genius building idea was that we were gonna put this fire pit on top of this glass and just have this ambiance, creating this experience. And I told her, I said, baby, hey, that glass is gonna get hot and it's gonna break. She's like, nah, what are you talking about? It's glass. It's not gonna break. Glass can withstand heat. We're gonna be good. All is good. And 3 hours into the family being over.
3 hours though. You notice how far? It wasn't 3 minutes. It was 3 hours.
Into the family being over.
Glass
everywhere. Thank God nobody was standing over there. Glass
David
shattered.
looked at me and they just.
And now we're putting out a fire on our brand new is what the moral of the story. And I told her, I said, baby, it's gonna catch on fire. It's not gonna work. But no, listen. But anyhow,
So we had to replace the complaint. My bad.
no, we didn't replace shit. We threw a carpet over it. And said nobody will see this. Is what we did.
And when we sold the house, they want the carpet and all of the deck patio furniture. They wanted all the patio furniture, how we had it decked out. And so I don't even know if they know that they got a divot in their deck.
Yeah. They don't know now.
They don't know now.
But with that being said, guys,
But they don't have a barbecue.
They do not have a barbecue pit. A barbecue pit is not patio furniture. Ladies and gentlemen.
Just FYI. We are digressing,
Yeah.
but patio furniture
It's
is not a barbecue.
Yeah, patio furniture is not a barbecue pit. But guys, hey, look, come join us tomorrow for our Hello Pivot at 6:30 p.m. You guys know that we are live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, right? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, 4:30. Thursdays at 6:30. You never know, we might do a pop-up just like we did last week when the ChatGPT came open. We did a pop-up room, so stay tuned this week, right on Monday. So stay tuned. You never know where we might be. Like Chris Tucker said in Money Talk, we might show up at the shower, we might show up at the picnic. You never know. We call snap and pop. So be ready.
Pop up in your box.
Pop up in your backseat, right? But more
Pop
importantly,
up at Chef Andy's table.
yeah, but more importantly, pop up in our Hello Plaza. Come and see what the future's already here. But with that being said, you guys know the drill. Love, integrity,
Most importantly,
commitment. And until next time,
toodles.
see you guys later.
Bye, y'all.